coach Shea Ralph will take an opening statement after today's 96-78 loss to Kentucky.
I don't have much to say today. I think today they were clearly the better team. We have a lot of work to do to improve so that we can be more competitive.
All right, we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. We'll start with Lana Morris. Vandy 24/7. Go ahead.
Yeah, what was Kentucky throwing at you guys offensively, especially in that first quarter? It seems like maybe a step too slow on the defensive end.
I don't know that it was what they did. I think it was just how we came out. The things that I kind of sit here and pontificate about after every win that we've had are the things that bit us in the butt, especially in that first quarter. They just didn't miss any open shots. So this has happened before in periods of games where we've had a lack of consistency on the defensive end or just a lack of energy or attention to detail, and we've given people open layups and open threes. They just haven't made them. This team didn't miss one in the first quarter. I mean, they were on track to score like 120 points because we just gave them open shot after open shot after open shot. And then when we finally decided to lock in and play a little bit more like ourselves, then it was pretty even. Until then, we would go periods of time where we wouldn't. So I don't know that, I want to give them credit because they're a really good team. Georgia Amar's a great point guard. She set her team up for success. There wasn't anybody, she was the best player on the floor today. There wasn't anybody on our team that could guard her. She knew exactly what she needed to do. She knew exactly what her teammates needed her to do, how to set them up, and she did that from start to finish. And then she defended as well. She was the best player on the floor. And we were not able to match their intensity from top to bottom, from start to finish. So, yeah, and that's the honest answer. I'm disappointed. I am, because I think we're a much better team than we played today. But I'm not surprised because I see this in practice. I've seen this in games. And I think that there's a lot of self-reflection that our team needs to have, a lot that we need to do different preparation-wise, which is my job. So this is just an example of who we can be at our worst for the most parts of today. And if we're this, then it's going to be tough for us to compete in this league. But thankfully, I don't think we are. I think this was just a day where the things that we do that I have been preaching to them will bit us in the butt from start to finish. And they were just a much, much better team.
All right, Brandon Bixby, Vandy 24/7. Go ahead.
Kentucky being a team with a lot of length, did you feel like that impacted the game whatsoever for you guys at all on either end?
Not really. I think if we moved a little quicker and a little better, if we moved the ball, that we would have been able to take advantage of our speed and athleticism. But I think the wind got knocked out of our sails pretty quickly. And so then after that, it looked like we were a step slow. Our energy didn't look great. Our body language didn't look great. And I told them that's hard to coach. You can't coach that. That just has to be who you are when you're back against the wall. It has to be who you are when everything's going your way. And those are lessons that our team is continuing to learn. So I think, obviously they were long, they're bigger, and that presents its own kind of challenge. But it's not like we haven't seen a big, long team before in our league this year. We have seen that. So we just have to handle it better.
Elena Morris, go ahead.
You talked about how you can't really necessarily coach it, but do you feel like there's any buttons you can push or things you can say to maybe start out a little bit better?
Yeah, I say that knowing that I'm going to try my ass off to do it. I'm not telling you it's 100% my job to figure it out. I think sometimes your greatest lessons can be your greatest failures. So I can preach until I'm blue in the face about some of the things that I knew were going to be an issue for us because I have the wisdom of hindsight, and I'm a lot older than those kids. I've seen a lot of basketball. I've been doing this for longer than they've been alive. But there are a lot of times where you have, when you're in the trajectory of our program right now, the players that we have are young. There's a lot that they still need to learn. And sometimes, unfortunately, the only way to learn it is to run into a wall. And today we did. We ran into a wall. They were very good. They were very prepared. They outplayed us in every facet of the game. So those are lessons that we can learn if we're willing to look at it the right way. So absolutely, there's buttons you can press. There's things that you can do. But I talked to you guys a lot about recruiting and how we run our program in terms of things that I can't coach, right? Like intangibles that exist in great players, just because that's who they are. And, I don't think anyone's born like that. I think along the way you make decisions as athletes, as people, like, I want this and I'm passionate about it and I'm going to do everything I can to get it. And so we have to keep preparing that way. We have to keep practicing that way. When adversity hits, we have to learn the lessons so we can take the next step forward. So today, hopefully, we'll provide some of those really hard lessons for us so that we can take that next step forward.
Brandon Bigsby, last question.
I know you talk about taking that next step forward, and I know you've been in plenty of situations like this before, but what do you feel like is the message to your team with a few tough games coming up and trying to bounce back and refocus after a tough loss today?
Yeah, I think the message is, like, I'm always going to be honest with them. So I'm going to tell them, like I'm telling you, like this. I don't think my job is motivation. I'm not one to go in there and throw clipboards and break glass. I don't think that's who I have to be or need to be. Those kids in that locker room came here to win. So what was the honest reason that we didn't win this game today? Let's talk about that. So that's what we just did. That's what we'll continue to do tomorrow. And then I think you continue to also build confidence, right? Like, today was a really crappy day for us. Today, everything felt like it went wrong. There's a lot that we can learn from it, but that doesn't mean our season is a failure or my team is a failure or we're not going to get any better. We're not going to win any more games. That's not what that means. We can't get too high and too low. So our energy and our effort has to look the same no matter what. And the way that I coach them has to be that too. You're going to get that from me no matter what. I show up, I'm consistent, and I need you to be too. And together, if we can do that and if we can prepare that way and we can have that same high-level energy, whether or not we shoot the ball well, whether or not they shoot the ball well, whether or not we're at home or away, whether or not we play in conference or out of conference, then we can be really, really, really good. The great teams, they do that. They play every day, they practice every day like they're about to play in the Final Four in championships. And we can't take this opportunity in those moments for granted, and we can't be fair weather. All right, well, today's my day. Yes, let's go. Today's not my day. Sorry, guys, I don't got it. It can't be that. And I can't coach them that way. So for me, as their coach, the most important thing right now, and a leader for my staff too, is to show up with consistency. Tomorrow, we're going to wake up and we're going to tackle this. We're going to be honest with ourselves and each other. We're going to get back to work, and we're going to be better for it.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. We'll talk to you later this week before the Ole Miss game.
All right, thank you, guys. Great to see you. Great.